Welcome to the Activate Your Divine Power podcast. If you're a badass light leader who's ready to break free from fear, lack, and limitation to shine your unique divine light bright, then this podcast is for you. I'm Lisa, a divine power healer, activator, and speaker on a mission to help you uncover your soul's truth and fully own your divine power. To boldly create a life you love on your own terms, raise collective consciousness, and help us birth a new 5D world together. As a 5-1 manifester, expect to be activated into greater consciousness and transformation as I dive deep into our collective shadows, unveiling profound truths and perspective shifts to reveal the light. Thank you so much for being here and doing this powerful work with me. And without further ado, let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of Activate Your Divine Power. So in this episode, I want to talk about why deep self-trust is the key to discovering and developing your unique soul gifts. So I felt like it was really important to share my journey of how I've created my own unique healing activations, because deep self-trust has been huge on this journey, absolutely huge. And I want to show you that it is possible and you have permission to do the same, to pull on the thread, find a modality that you like, pull on that thread. And then as you go, start to weave in different things that call to you and start to kind of create your own unique process, because we are here to be ever expanding beings. And for me, I found that there was a point when I started feeling trapped by the modality that I trained in. So I want to show you how deep self-trust really is the path to discovering and developing your own unique soul gifts, because these modalities, they are designed to be a stepping stone. So how I got started on this journey was I had my spiritual awakening 4 years ago. So I was at the cohort of the beginning of 2020. So that group that were waking up at that time, obviously COVID was huge. So it really gave a lot of people permission to kind of go inside and start kind of looking at what was going on beneath the surface. So I was part of that cohort. And at the same time, a friend of mine had trained as a theta healer. And I just read Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So that was kind of like my bridge from that science background that I'd had. So I actually did maths at university, ironically, but I also had the School Award for Art, but I decided that it wasn't safe to follow that path. You know, creativity wasn't safe, which I now know, having done all the subconscious work that I've done on myself. You know, creativity, it's feminine energy. And I was so in my wounded masculine of, okay, someone critiquing my art could give me a D because they don't like it. Whereas 1 and 1 always equals 2. So I actually studied maths at university. And I always knew I'd come back and do something more creative. And then I met my life partner in 2014. We started a fashion brand. So that was the beginning of reconnecting with the creativity. And then I had my spiritual awakening in 2020. And my friend, like I said, had trained as a theta healer. And because I'd read Joe Dispenza's book, I understood what the theta state was. And I wanted to give it a try. So I had one session and fell in love with it. Like I could feel the shifts at the end of that session, like the internal shifts that were happening were just insane. So if you don't know what theta healing is, I'm just going to give you a quick background. So basically it is identifying on a subconscious level the limiting beliefs, feelings, programs, and misunderstandings that are keeping you limited and keeping you trapped. And you can do that through kinesiology, which is also called muscle testing. So when you work with a theta healer, they're listening to your words, because your words basically give away what your subconscious believes. We all walk around not being aware that we're telling everyone what our subconscious believes, but we don't know that. So a theta healer can be that mirror to pick up on your words. And then in a session, you then go into the theta state, which is between 4 and 7 hertz. And then your theta healer will ask you to muscle test a whole list of beliefs that they've tuned into. So it is part listening to your words, but it's also reading your energy. So then you would kind of test about, 15 to 20 beliefs. And then comes the actual healing aspect. So what happens then is we open the space for the angels, guides, ascended masters, and higher selves to come in. And then The healer makes the commands. So making the command to create all that is, to show you and teach you it's time safe and it's okay to start releasing these beliefs. And as the receiver, well, to be fair, you are the healer. So the theta healer is making the commands, but you are healing yourself. So it is your job to say yes, to accept the healing. So we're tuning in to the energy of creator of all that is. The theta healer is making the commands and you are saying, yes, I am ready to receive this healing. So that's what happens to clear the beliefs, the limiting beliefs. And then on the other side, we then bring in the highest and best 5D downloads. So I always say in the film The Matrix, you have Neo, when he gets the download to basically be able to do martial arts in like 30 seconds, the computer program for martial arts in 30 seconds, that is literally theta healing. So what we do is we clear all the limiting beliefs, the programs, misunderstandings, the fears, and then we bring in the highest and best. So the epic thing is that after a session, you then muscle test again. So your subconscious is held in your body, which is why this kinesiology works, because you can ask your body what your subconscious believes. So after a session, you muscle test and you see the beliefs have instantly gone. It's that powerful. So I'd get to the end of a session and I would see that they've gone and that they've been replaced. And I'm like, what is this? And I would feel differently. So that is why I got so obsessed with theta healing. And I had 80 sessions over 2 years. I went in and I freaking loved it. And then something that happened really, really early on was I now realize it was my higher self. My higher self told me to watch every session back and to document every single belief, program, misunderstanding, feeling that we'd identified and cleared. No one does this. No one. So I probably, that logical mind of me, but also my higher self was like, okay, let's create a spreadsheet. So anyway, over 2 years of working with my theta healer, I had 1,500 beliefs, feelings, programs, misunderstandings that we had cleared together. And then at that point, I was like, I am so obsessed with this work. I freaking love it. I'm going to train as a theta healer myself because I just love it. I absolutely love it. So I left the fashion brand and I trained as a theta healer. And then from then on, the last 2 years, I've been healing myself because I've realized I have this ability. Most people still have healers to go and see, but maybe it's the manifestor in me, but I am very able to identify my own stuff and call myself out on stuff. I'm sure, we all do have blind spots, but, if I need to see someone, I will, but I just freaking love it. And also when it comes to gene keys, so my 47, that is triple activated, and that is the energy of transmutation. And what that gene key means is that I'm able to read the junk DNA. I am able to read the 3D matrix, the belief systems, the programs and the misunderstandings that have created this 3D matrix. So for me, I find it really easy to tune into that and to, add it to my spreadsheet as I was healing things. And my spreadsheet is now up to 3,000. So that is what kind of my story is around this. But at the same time, something else that I've realized wasn't in alignment for me being a manifestor in human design is I was doing one-to-one sessions after I trained and it just didn't feel aligned. As a manifestor, I'm not designed to do one-to-one sessions. And on top of that, I'm a 5-1 profile in human design. So if you know what a 5-1 is, I'm basically designed to talk to lots of people at once and to, hold big groups of people. So for me, doing one-to-one work, it just wasn't aligned. And obviously the typical trodden path is that you do one-to-one sessions and that is how you build it up. But very quickly, I realized it wasn't aligned for me because I know I'm here to speak to lots of people at once. But I was like, how am I supposed to do this when I'm delivering healing? So that was already a bit of a disconnect. And I was like, okay, everyone else is doing one-to-one, but this doesn't feel in alignment for me. So that was a big thing for me to kind of have to deal with. And at the same time, I also had a lot of pressure that I should be doing one-to-ones, and people weren't understanding that it just wasn't aligned with my energy. And I think that is also really important. The more you understand your energy and you understand how it works, you can start discerning, okay, that works for me, that doesn't work for me. How can I problem solve to get something to work for me? And maybe it's not been done before. So that is a huge lesson in deep self-trust, going, you know what? Yes, one-to-one sessions are great. And that's how, how I can get that initial kind of, practice. But I super quickly grew out of it and it just didn't feel aligned for me. And I had to really trust myself in that when I had a lot of people saying, you should be doing one-to-one for however many, years. So there was that. But then at the same time, I started realizing that I'd had this list of 3,000, ever-growing list of 3,000 minimum subconscious limiting beliefs, programs, and misunderstandings. And I started realizing that actually, if I'm here to read this junk DNA at the collective level with that gene key 47, then actually I need to tune into this and strip away everything that's mine, like personally mine, that I've healed, and actually focus on the collectively held subconscious limiting beliefs, programs, and misunderstandings that create this 3D matrix. And if I can get this work out to people individually, they can start seeing these shifts in their life, but also collectively, we can start creating this herd healing ripple effect, which I'm so excited about because I can take you down to the deepest depths of what I've spent 4 years identifying and healing and clearing and documenting that is collectively held. I can take you down there and we clear that instantly. And then you can start working with a one-to-one person on the nuances, because everyone has nuances. I've cleared a whole bunch of stuff that's personal to me. So I'm not saying that my work will clear absolutely everything, but it will quantum leap you so that you don't have to do all of that one layer at a time. So that was a huge realization for me, that there's so many theta healers out there doing one-to-one work, but I want to focus on the collectively held stuff. And that feels true to me. That feels true in my body, in my bones, in my energy. So that also contributed to the whole being a manifestor, not in alignment for one-to-one. And again, this took deep self-trust. And then another thing that happened was that when I was working with one-to-one clients, a lot of them were saying to me, but how? So we would clear the beliefs, we would bring in the downloads to replace them. And then they would say, yeah, but how? And I was like, yeah, that is a good point. When I was receiving all of my theta healing, I was actually making up visualizations at the time that I was receiving theta healing, because I think on a subconscious, like a soul gift level, I already knew that guided visualization was the way that I was going to embed this in a lot faster. And that is not something that's done in theta healing. So I was like, you know what? It's a really good point, because you can bring in the downloads, but imagery is the language of the subconscious mind. So if you can show your subconscious how to visually work with these new downloads that you've brought in, then that integrates those changes so much faster. And it's just so powerful. And when I started writing these visualizations for the first time to really go with the beliefs that we were clearing and bringing in, I was like, oh my God, this just flows so effortlessly. It was like going back to school when I was painting again, but I was creating art in the energetic realm. And it just felt, it unlocked another aspect of my soul gift that, has been waiting in the wings for so long to kind of come online, but I didn't know in what way it was going to happen. So that was also kind of a big light bulb moment, like, oh my word, it's not just about theta healing, it's about the guided visualizations that really get you in that energy of creation, energetic play and creation. And my clients are freaking loving it. Like, they are loving it. And they're walking away with this consciousness visual toolkit to be able to work with their energy. So that was like a huge thing. And that also took self-trust to be like, actually, you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to try and write a guided visualization. And all of a sudden I was just like, wow, it was just flowing through me. So that was something else that happened along the way. And something else that I realized while I was developing my healing activations was that for me, journaling is such an important part of my process. So I started moon journaling at the beginning of 2020. So every full moon, new moon, first quarter, last quarter, I was journaling. And I find it so, so powerful, because if you actually pay attention to the words that you write on the page, you can see your subconscious mind. You can literally read what your subconscious believes. So if you know how to structure a limiting belief in the right way, and you know how to muscle test, you can literally take your journal and pull out your subconscious limiting beliefs, muscle test them, and then know that they're there. So it's such a powerful thing. And I was like, you know what? I really want to incorporate journaling into this, because after a traditional theta healing session, you just go about your merry day. And I'm like, I actually feel like there's so much power in documenting what has just happened. So after a healing activation, I always invite people to journal, because when you put pen to paper, you are manifesting in the physical reality. You are saying, you know what? This happened. I saw these visualizations, or I felt this resistance, or whatever it was. You're documenting it. And it's so powerful, because you're witnessing the transformation, and all of that just accelerates the embodiment even faster. It is so powerful. And then off the back of that, I was like, actually, you know what? I want to create a workbook specifically designed to strengthen your intuition and to build a bridge of trust and communication with your conscious and your subconscious mind. So I wanted to offer this as part of my healing activation, so that in the future, you know, when challenges are coming up in your life, you can be like, okay, I'm going to run it through this workbook, because these journal prompts are so freaking potent and so powerful. And essentially what it does is it gets you to self-identify your own subconscious limiting beliefs, because at the end of the day, awareness is half of the battle. So I wanted to also start putting that power back in your hands, start showing you that you can build a bridge between your conscious and your subconscious, so that over time, your subconscious feels safe to show you what it believes, because your ego is starting to get on board with the fact that actually your soul aligned path is the safest path. And through this workbook, you can identify your own subconscious limiting beliefs, and you can start rewiring them. I mean, you probably will need to do some energy work at the same time, but you can get so far in being able to build your intuition and that bridge between your conscious and subconscious, and start to shift, because once you identify a limiting belief, it is already shifting. And this is something that I felt really passionate about, because I never want someone to feel dependent on me. I want to put the power, the divine power, like it is yours. You know, I want to help you activate that. I want to create a safe space, create consciousness tools, create workbooks that help you fully step into your divine power. It's not for me to give it to you. You have it already. You have it. It's yours. It's just about learning what it is that is going to unlock that within you and fully put you back in your power, so that you are expressing it and fully embodying it. So that is something else that I started to feel like wasn't really fitting in that box of just being a theta healer. There's so much more to it. And, you know, the clients that are coming through my healing activations, it's just nuts. The results they're seeing, it's completely blown my mind of any expectation, because the thing is, the deeper you go, the higher you rise. And I've done all the hard work for you, identifying the collectively held stuff. I've done it for you. All you need to do is come along, muscle test, do the healing activation, and then muscle test again to see they've gone. So, you know, I've done the hard work for you, and that is what I'm here to do. I'm here to create these healing activations that allow me to be in that 5-1 manifestor energy. And this has never been done before. And I wanted to share this journey with you, because it's taken a lot of self-trust on this journey. So I just want to break down some of the things that I've had to deeply trust over the last 4 years, because when you start doing this work, you are starting to peel back those layers. So you will be building that trust muscle, but it doesn't happen overnight. So I just wanted to share with you and give you a few kind of tips and tricks of how I did this, in case it inspires something. If you're feeling trapped by a current modality and you're like, actually, I want to start blending other things together, but I'm not feeling confident. I just want to, you know, highlight how I did it, because there is going to be some nuggets of wisdom in here. So the first one I would say is, I really looked at my astrology and my human design. So that is a rabbit hole that I've been going down parallel to the Theta Healing and the guided visualizations and the journaling that I've been developing as all part of my healing activation, is really discovering and discerning your unique energy and trying it on. So going into your astrology natal chart, going into your human design chart, trying it on for size to see what resonates, and finding safety in that energetic signature. So I used to always reject my astrology natal chart because I would look at it in comparison to my partner's, and he is all like joy and abundance and hey, you know, like Saggy, let's explore vibes. So he was all just like a walking light bulb of joy. And you look at mine and it was all just, it felt really heavy. It felt really intense. Yeah, it just felt like a lot. You know, my energy is intense and it is a lot. But when I discovered my astrology, which is Virgo sun, Scorpio moon, Capricorn rising, but I actually have 8 planets in Scorpio and or the 8th house. So basically I am so freaking Scorpio, it's a lot. And then you add on the fact that I'm a 5-1 manifestor and you've just got a lot of energy. So, you know, it took me a long time to get my head around that and be like, actually, you know what? I chose this, but I had to try it on for size. And I had to literally, does this resonate with me? Does it not resonate with me? And find safety in that energetic signature and being like, actually, I think this is me. Yeah. And obviously at the time I was also doing my Theta Healing, anything that was coming up, I was like, you know, shifting it because I was rejecting myself essentially. But I do massively recommend anyone going on a self-discovery journey to look at their astrology and human design because it holds so many nuggets. And I think I'm actually thinking I'm going to do a podcast episode just on my astrology so you can see how it shows up in my unique divine energy and in my life and in my business, because the whole kind of House of Guilt brand is based very heavily on my astrology. So I think that's really interesting. So I think I'm going to do a podcast episode about that so you can see how my astrology is showing up, because then it can also give you some kind of ideas as to how your astrology could be weaved in to your business if you have a brand. So there's that. And then other things that I had to trust. So I had to trust the creative urge to document all of those subconscious limiting beliefs, programs, and misunderstandings after each session of Theta Healing. And how did I trust that? It was just fun for me. I didn't even know why I was doing it. It just felt fun. So I would watch it back and I'd be like, oh, it's amazing. And, you know, I guess that I've got the right and the left side. I've got the creative, but I've also got the logical side with the art and the maths. And yeah, I loved it. I was like, actually, I want to document all of these. How fun would that be? So it took a load of time. And obviously now it has a purpose, which is amazing. But I had to trust that. And I also had to trust the creative urge to write a guided visualization. And I remember sitting there for the first time and I could have so easily got writer's block. And as soon as the first 2 words came out, the rest just literally flew out. And I was like, wow, this is so effortless. But if I'd have let that voice in my head go, oh, you know, can you do that though? Can you really do that? You know, you're going to sit down, look at this blank page and it's not going to feel right. Then I wouldn't have done it. So I had to trust that. I had to trust that if I'm not meant to write guided visualization, that's fine. Like, you know, it's just about trusting yourself to start. And I also had to trust that my deep knowledge and experience of building that bridge between my subconscious and conscious that I've done over the last 4 years to identify my own subconscious limiting beliefs, programs, and misunderstandings would create these powerful workbooks. I had to trust that I could deliver all of this on a one-to-many basis because my healing activations, they're pre-recorded, they're instant access. So I had to trust that this process was going to work. As far as I know, it's never been done before. So I had to trust that I was going to be able to create these Theta Healing and guided visualization sessions within the kind of the traditional kind of like online course way of working with the workbooks in between, and trust that I could do that and that I could stop doing the one-to-one sessions and create this unique offering that works for me. It works for my energy. It works for my gifts. It works for what I'm here to offer. It works for my vision of herd healing. But most importantly, it works for my clients as well, which is insane. So this is the thing, is like when you trust that your own unique energy and who you came here to be and everything that you're being called to do, even if it's going off the beaten path of what you're supposed to do, it will work for the people that you came here to design it for. It will work. So I really had to trust that my dream soul clients were going to love it. I had to trust that this instant access self-led format was going to work. I had to trust that they would feel that intimacy of having a one-to-one session with me. But obviously, it's pre-recorded. So I'm able to have a one-to-one session with everyone, God knows how many people at the same time. And they all felt that. They felt that one-to-one intimate connection, which is incredible. So I had to trust that. And I had to trust that my soul tribe, my clients, were going to show up in divine time. So they were going to show up, and, it's taken a lot of time for my work to start getting out there. And I had to trust with every ounce of my being over the last 4 years that what I'm building is deep and it's powerful and it's potent and it's going to have momentum. And I'm starting to see that now. And that is incredible. But I had to trust for a good 2 years after I trained that my process of delivering these instant access, self-led, self-paced was going to create that powerful and deep and potent transformation for my clients, and that they would show up when it was divine time for them, when it was the divine time for the collective to do this work, and also when I was in my divine power, offering them something unique that is so true to my essence and my soul. Because that's the thing, if you are showing up from a box, someone has created a box and you are showing up delivering that box, it might be soul aligned for you, amazing. But if it's not soul aligned for you, you're going to have to start bringing in your own unique flavor. And what you have to offer uniquely is exactly what your soul clients need. And it's about having that balls to say, you know what, I'm doing this my way, because my energy doesn't lend itself to that. So if I was to kind of summarize, I would say that we're here to lead by example, essentially. We're here to be divine creators, creating a life and a business on our own terms. And if at any point you feel trapped by a modality that you've learned, or, a healing modality or self-discovery tool or whatever it is, you have full permission to take what resonates and leave the rest. Full permission, because you're here to explore the edges of who you are. You're here to bring a new flavor to something, and you get to choose how you receive your divine abundance in that process. And from my perspective, I'm like, the more creative and unique, the better, because we are here to do that. When we unlock our own uniqueness and stand on our own soul's truth and divine power, it magnetizes the exact people who need that. And then they're inspired to be like, oh, hang on, how can I put my own unique twist on this? And it becomes this ripple effect where we're all in our own uniqueness, but also contributing to the whole, which is what I'm so passionate about. So I think ultimately we don't need more of what already is. We don't. We need more of what is yet to be. And I am a huge advocate of that. Like, it doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be a brand new thing. So I'm not saying go and completely do something new if that's not aligned for you. But what I'm saying is it does need to have your authentic, unique, divine energy encoded into it, your unique signature. Like, if you're going to deliver astrology and it feels super aligned for you to be within that modality, amazing. But you are going to bring a unique flavor to a different astrologer who teaches or does sessions that are exactly the same astrology. You are going to be bringing your unique flavor to that. You're going to be shining a light on different aspects of someone's natal chart or their transits that the other person wouldn't. So I'm not saying you have to do something new. I'm just saying know yourself and draw in and play with and have fun with creating something that is uniquely you, and owning your power in that, owning your power in whatever modality or blend of modalities work for you, and your human design, your astrology, your gene keys, whatever. So it is about cultivating a foundation of deep, unwavering self-trust. And that starts with you activating your divine energy and rewiring your subconscious and your energy to remember, reconnect with, and unleash your unique soul's truth and divine power. Because if you're feeling blocked in any way, embodying or expressing your unique soul essence, then that needs to be worked on. Or if you're doubting yourself, or if you're doubting your soul gifts in any way, either behind closed doors, with friends and family, or publicly online, then I invite you to explore my healing activation, Activate Your Divine Energy. It's the most foundational one. It will get you in full reconnection, deep self-trust in yourself, in divine source, in your soul's truth, and in your full divine power, knowing that you have the power to create everything that you desire and to do that on your own terms. So it is super powerful. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. And this foundational Activate Your Divine Energy basically has the deepest subconscious limiting beliefs, programs, and misunderstandings that I have personally discovered, healed, reprogrammed, documented in the last 4 years out of 3,000, my ever-growing list of 3,000. These are the deepest ones. These are the collectively held ones that stop us from fully embodying, expressing, activating, owning our divine power and our unique divine energy. So the link is in the show notes. And in the meantime, I just want to say thank you for being on this journey with me as we navigate all the highs and the lows of this magical earthly plane. And just to say that if this resonates, I am so happy. Take whatever you need, integrate it, play with it in your life, see how it works for you. And if nothing resonates, that is all good, my love. You can leave it here. That is your prerogative. And you came here to create a life on your own terms. And whatever that looks like and feels like for you, that is amazing. So in the meantime, my love, I love you so much. We've got this. And together we heal and rise. If this episode has served you in any way, I ask you to please share it with a fellow soul sister or brother to help them heal or create a higher, more expansive perspective. Please share and tag me on Instagram at houseofguilt.co with any key takeaways, any downloads you received, or what you loved from this episode. You can also DM me with any questions or feedback. As a manifester, I love hearing the impact I've had on you. Your support truly means the world, and I'm beyond grateful to have you as part of the Guilty Soul Tribe of badass light leaders co-creating a new 5D world together. So thank you so much from the bottom of my guilty gold soul. Please consider subscribing to this podcast and leaving a 5-star review so we can continue to evolve and expand together. I love you so much. We've got this, and together we heal and rise.